Hey team, it's good to see you again. This is Coach Jake, and I'm here to tackle 3 tough questions you want to know. These were sent in to me on the Life Happens-Live It Facebook page by students. And if you like that page, you can send in your own questions and hopefully I can answer them in the future videos. Okay, it's game time, so let's get started. Question number 1. Someone said something bad about me and I'm really mad. What can I do? When you have been unfairly fouled like this, it's going to be hard, but I want you to take a mental timeout. Fouling somebody back is never the right move because it will probably just make it worse and get you ejected from the game. Do you remember being in 1st or 2nd grade when the Forest Service would bring in Smokey the Bear to teach us about fire safety? What were the 3 steps we learned way back then? Stop, drop, and roll. While Smokey the Bear may not have mad skills on the court, I think he has some all-star ideas on how to react when people are talking trash about us. Stop before you make it worse by lashing out at the other person. Drop your heart rate by taking in a few deep breaths. In, 1, 2, 3, out, 4, 5, 6. Now roll. Go somewhere else so it doesn't ruin your day and so you have a chance to think of an intelligent and positive way to respond. Fouling only hurts your team and never helps. When people are saying bad things about you, I know it's hard to deal with inside. But in my book, which coincidentally has the same name as my Facebook fan page, Life Happens, Live It, I wrote about an incredible man named W. Mitchell. My favorite saying of his is, "It's not what happens to you, it's what you do about it." What if we adapted that mentality to our question? Let's change it to, it's not what's said about you, it's how you let it affect you. If someone makes the bad choice to say hurtful words about you, those words only have as much power as you give them. Look at it as a multiplication problem. Whatever someone says about you is the constant. We cannot control that. Multiply that now by how much you choose to let it affect you, which is the variable. So in the end, your opinion of yourself is the only one that matters. The less you worry about what other people say or think about you, the smaller that variable will become. If you multiply the trash talking by 0, then you are choosing to give it no power over you. So let's pretend that it's really getting to you and you feel like you can't handle the problem by yourself. If it gets to the point where it's driving you nuts, then it's time to bring in the 2nd string. There's no shame in asking for help because that's what counselors, parents, teachers, and good friends are there for. So to recap our strategy for dealing with people who make you mad by saying bad things about you, number 1 is to stop, drop, and roll. Number 2, do what W. Mitchell would do. It's not what's said about you, it's how you let it affect you. Number 3, bring in the 2nd string. Get some help. Nobody wins alone. The second question that was sent in is, I want to be part of a certain group of kids, but I know they could do some things that could get me in trouble. Hold up. This question raises a huge red flag right away. If you have to put the word but in the sentence describing the kids you want to hang out with, then you are entering dangerous territory. For example, I want to hang out with these kids because I think they're cool, but a few of them sneak off at lunch to get high. Or I want to hang out with these kids, but they kind of push other people around at school. Sometimes they goof off a lot. Hey, if there's any hesitation in your mind where you know it's just not right, it's not worth it. Have you ever heard of Murphy's Law? He stated, if anything can go wrong, it will. Well, I would add sooner or later. So his law would read, if anything can go wrong, sooner or later it will. I know from first-hand experience that these type of kids are like a trick play. Just being around them increases your risk of getting in trouble tenfold. So what happens when you're riding in a car at lunch with them and you get pulled over for speeding? The officer comes in, finds something illegal in your friend's pocket. You had no idea it was even there. Now you could get in trouble just for being there. It's called guilt by association. So if you choose to hang around those kids you know you shouldn't be with, it's just like throwing those dice and gambling, because sooner or later you will get burned. Today I found a saying that's a little weird, but I think it's right on the money. Put a rose into a sack of fish, and sooner or later it will stink too. I agree with the theory, and you become most like the 5 people who are closest to you. So the people you hang out with eventually will change who you are. So my question to you is, who are you picking to be on your team? If you are already part of a group and some of your friends are starting to use drugs, drink, lie to the parents, steal from other people, push people around like a bully, then this is where you can be the best kind of friend and show them they don't need to do these type of things to be cool. The last question I received was, why should I get good grades? Hey, your coach learned this lesson the hard way. In a metal folding chair, I was sitting near the half-court line at my high school graduation. One by one, I watched my friends get up and walk right past me to receive awards for being valedictorian, salutatorian, a scholarship for this, a scholarship for that. It never occurred to me until well after the 2-minute warning sounded that you could literally get paid for working hard in school and getting good grades. Watching other people walk right past me for money, for getting good grades, was such a terrible feeling. It was like watching money slip right out from my hands. I miss being valedictorian, which means the person in your class who has the highest grades and usually gets boatloads of scholarships, by 2 Bs. That felt like playing your heart out the whole game and just giving up during the last minute to let the other team win. The winner could have been me, and it can be you. Having good grades doesn't mean you're necessarily the smartest person in school. As a coach, I would rather put a kid in the game who works as hard as they can than a person who is a genius but doesn't use it. You will hit a home run if you show up, do a good job, and consistently do your best. Education is something no one can take away from you. I can vividly remember my Aunt Roseanne telling me that as I laid in a hospital bed with what seemed like everything else in my life taken away. Bad grades is in the past, and past is past tense, and is no reflection on what you're capable of doing now. The work you put into your grades now forms the expectations you set really for your entire life. Not really trying hard, copying other students' work, or quitting early today will start to set the patterns you will have for the rest of your life. It's not fun at all to go back to the locker room knowing you could have given more effort. I want you to work so hard in school that you don't have a single ounce of energy left to give. I mean, leave it all out on the court. Even though it's not always the most fun thing to do, your time in school is like a practice game, and you end up playing how you practice. Practice makes permanent, and your time to start shining is right now. Well, team, it's been another terrific practice session with you. I want you to keep sending in the questions through the Life Happens Live It Facebook fan page. We're going to meet here for practice on the 3rd week of every month. So bring your game face and any questions you would like me to answer. So we've created a winning strategy. The ball is now in your court. Play fair, play hard, and remember you are all on the same team. Now get out there and be a rock star at the game of life.